You are in the Dawn Dimension, and this is an Acura TL from the year 2010. This one's got about 93,000 miles on it. So without any further delays, let's get this review started. So we got a pretty good steering wheel here in the Acura TL. It's a little thicker than what I'm used to, so it's a pretty comfortable place to rest your hands. It's pretty sporty. It's about maybe like a tiny bit smaller than an average steering wheel, but you know, pretty close to medium size. And the 9-3 grips are really comfortable to hold, and you feel really in control with the 9-3 grips. The 10-2 notches aren't super comfortable, but I don't tend to drive in the 10-2 position. The 9-3 is great, even one hand. Like, since the wheel's thicker, you just feel like you can get a really good grip on the wheel with just one hand on the 9 or 3, depending on what handed you're driving. In addition, the Acura logo looks really nice. The steering wheel is black leather, pretty soft. You can tell just everything you touch in this car and see is just of a high quality, high grade materials. The plastics are pretty nice. There's nice tan leather everywhere. Caramel color, maybe you call it, or caramel. I don't know. The gauges are pretty simple. There's not too much going on there, but that's not a bad thing. You know, your tachometer and speedometer are the same size as each other. The font's pretty easy to read. It's got a little bit of different font to it than I'm used to seeing. I can't really put my finger on it, what's different about the font. But they're classy looking gauges. You got almost a 7,000 red line on the tach. You got temperature and fuel gauge like usual, but you also have in the middle a pretty nice multi-function screen there. I currently have it set to actually show which wheels the car is sending the power to. Another piece of technology that I'm not used to is just push button start with a key fob. I mean, both my cars before this were 2006. I mean, they were nice cars, granted, but they didn't have that technology going for most cars. I'm not sure exactly when this was invented, but it wasn't a trend yet in 2006. But yeah, the push button start's nice. You put the fob somewhere in the car, maybe in your pocket. I still tend to put it in the slot, just because it's easier to remember where it is, and it's kind of a ritual to put the key somewhere when you're in the car. But it's not really a big deal where you put the key. And then one thing that people do sometimes complain about with the TL is there's a lot of buttons. But I'm kind of a techie guy, so it doesn't really bother me. So the front seats in the Acura TL are super comfortable, and they also have electronic adjustment, and the side bolstering is above average as well. The back seats are no exception. They are also very comfortable and have a pretty good amount of legroom. As you can see here, sitting behind myself, I have about 2 inches of knee room to spare. There's also about 1 inch to spare of headroom, as you can see. The trunk space is about average for a sedan this size, definitely not lacking, but the seats do not fold down, so there is a pass-through slot for longer objects. Moving on to the other storage space, the glove box is about average, and the center console is not as long as usual, but it is pretty deep, so you can fit enough stuff in there. Also, note that you have your USB, auxiliary, and a power outlet. Hello everybody, and welcome to another Dawn Dimension car review. This is actually my new car. I just traded in my 350Z for this beautiful luxury 2010 Acura TL. But lucky me, I actually found one of these with a manual transmission. And I wish you the best of luck on your journey if you are looking for one as well, because there's not very many of them. When I was doing my search for this car, at the time, there was only 3 of these for sale from the year 2009, or sorry, from the year 2010 to 2011, when they had the manuals. So there's only 3 of these for sale all across the US that I could find. So I was really lucky when this one popped up pretty much right in the same city that I live in. And for those of you who aren't familiar with my channel yet, I live in Minnesota, and that's where I do the majority of my car reviews. I kind of traded horizontally, I'd say. I wouldn't say I upgraded or downgraded, because the Z is a great car. I got this one because it's a little more well-rounded car. You know, it's nice to have back seats, a really comfortable ride, similar efficiency, all-wheel drive, and since I'm in Minnesota, that's really helpful for me in these snowy months, so I can drive this car all year round. So that's kind of the main reason I got it. But enough about me and my experiences. Let's just talk about how this car drives. So we're dealing with a 3.7 liter V6 that's putting out 305 horsepower with the all-wheel drive platform. So it's a respectable amount of power, and in this car it's actually pretty quiet. It's not super quiet. It's not like the Hyundai Genesis sedan that I reviewed about a year ago. It's not that quiet, but it is really quiet compared to my Z. Like if you're gonna have a phone call in here, then you'll actually be able to hear it. So I gotta say, the handling is pretty good. I'm doing a little cloverleaf entrance ramp here, and the body roll is not that bad. I mean, you can feel it tipping, but it's pretty well composed. And it's got enough pull. Like, see, when I'm driving this car, I don't have the urge to really, you know, stab the throttle and give her gas, because it's really laid back and composed. And when you're sitting in these seats, you just feel really relaxed and at ease. So it doesn't egg you on. It doesn't make you want to drive fast. But whenever you do need to pass someone, it reminds you that it is quite a powerful car. Well, here, I'm going to downshift to 4th here. Like just that, you could really feel it pulling your push back in your seat a little bit. It's pretty nice. Oh, and we got some bumps here. The suspension's also pretty forgiving. Comparing this to some of its competitors, like say for example the Infiniti G37, I actually like the look of this one better than the G37, because the Infinity's it's got softer edges and lines, and it just looks to me like it's more suitable for an older clientele, an older buyer. This one, it's got sharper edges, a little more aggressive, and from 2009 to 2011 it has the beak on the front. So I mean, that kind of juts out, and that's kind of based on your preference if you like that or not. But either way, it's a little more menacing than the G37 appearance-wise. I know the G37 is a little more power, but this feels plenty fast, plenty composed. The handling is, I wouldn't call it vague. It's pretty sporty, but it's vague compared to you know, what I'm used to. Like, it's a little softer than the Civic Si and the Nissan 350Z steering, but you know, that's by design. It's a luxury car. If you're driving those cars, you kind of have to be on edge. I wouldn't say on edge. You kind of have to be hands on the wheel all the time because it's very responsive to your steering inputs. This one's responsive, but it's just a little less feedback, a little more relaxed steering feel. But it's a luxury sedan, or it's a sport luxury sedan, so that's what you want. So if you, in a straight line, if you want to go fast like I am here, it does the trick, and then it also handles the corners pretty well. Because it has super handling all-wheel drive, that's what the SH stands for. So right here, I'm going to take this corner quick, and just no tire spin. That just feels great. You can hear the exhaust, but not really. Like, it's probably not as loud as I'd want it. But on the flip side, it's pretty quiet in here. It's an overall quiet, relaxed experience. So most buyers of this particular car would probably prefer that it's quiet. But you know, one thing about the characteristic of this car is it's got the VTEC, but and in a V6, so that's pretty awesome. But there's not much pull down low, which is good because when you're not trying to drive fast, it's a really tame car and a really nice, enjoyable experience. And the gearing is pretty cool too. Like, I'm in 6th gear, going 60 miles an hour, and the RPMs are at 2,000. So I mean, even though it's all-wheel drive, you know, 3,800 pounds or so, you know, big V6, you should be able to get at least 25 miles per gallon on the highway. So it's not really gonna break the bank there. I mean, if you need all-wheel drive in Minnesota, or if you just feel like you want it, I'd say go ahead and get this car. If, of course, everything else in the package is what you're looking for. So I'd say this does fit the category of Honda transmission. Pretty easy to make shifts, really smooth. It's really easy to find the gear you're looking for. And reverse on this one is all the way over to the right, kind of like where 6th gear is. You don't have to push down. The clutch travel is a little bit longer than most cars I've driven. Like the Civic Si, you know, the distance that you have to push the clutch in is like this. You know, it's like a few inches basically. And this, it's more like 6 inches, or I don't know, it's hard to say, but it's a little more than I'm used to, and it engages at about 2/3 or 3/4 of the way up, so it's pretty typical. And I'd say the distance between each gear here when you're shifting is about normal as well. Like, it's definitely not a short throw shifter, but you don't feel like you're moving your entire arm really far when you're shifting. It's like, you know, like this, doot. So it's kind of a happy medium. Sometimes some people don't like the short throw shifter because it's just, or some people don't want a super short throw shifter, and some people don't want to be moving their whole body to shift gears. So as far as visibility goes, so the A-pillar is about normal size, nothing surprising there, doesn't get in your way too much. The B-pillar is in a good spot because it's right behind your left ear, so when you look over to your left, you can see your blind spot area through the back window, so that's not bad. The C-pillars are not too big, they don't get in the way, and the rear visibility is also pretty good. When I look out the back, I can see pretty nicely, and through the rear view mirror it's pretty good too. The side mirrors, those are actually adjustable, so it's really nice, you know, depending on your seating position, you can move those left or right or up and down, so you're pretty much set with visibility. Another nifty feature is the backup camera, which this technology package comes with. This one allows me to listen to music with Bluetooth, auxiliary, USB, onboard hard drive, FM, XM, CD. That's the one I'm most excited about, is the CD. It still offers that, and it actually can record songs off of a CD onto the onboard hard drive. So it's pretty well equipped. You can listen to any music you want. Also, I'd say that the quality of the radio, or the quality of the stereo, is really good. Really good audio. Copyright infringement. We can't listen to that music. But you guys get the point. It's a good technology package. I'm pleased with it. As far as the controls go, there's a lot of buttons on here. But, like any car, there's always a little bit of learning curve. And if you own the car, you'll drive it all the time and you'll get used to it pretty quick. So the same thing has happened to me. I pretty much know what all the buttons do after about a week and a half of owning this car. So I'm not concerned about that. Another little factoid, this car uses premium fuel, but that's nothing new. The SI and the 350Z that I used to have, those both recommend premium, and I use at least 91 in those when I would fill it up. I just gotta say, it's really satisfying shifting gears with this car. Like, the fact that it's not super short throws just makes it a little more fun for me. I just slap the gear into place. It's just really satisfying feeling. But enough about all the technology. Let's just do a quick acceleration run here, just to show you that it is a quick car. It means business. When you push it, it can be pretty surprising, actually. It's really quick. The all-wheel drive keeps the tires planted. All-wheel drive does the trick. Like, if you try really hard, you can get the tires to squeak a little bit, but it's got good grip. This is, from what I read, this is one of the better all-wheel drive systems from 2010. Super handling all-wheel drive. Problem is, there's not quite enough room to really get going. This is Minnesota, so there's not a ton of roads where you can go over, say, 65. There's a couple highways where it's 70. Actually, I think there is a 75 if you're going up towards Fargo. So overall, with the 2010 Acura TL, it's a really good package deal. You're getting a lot, but you're not really having to compromise too much in any area. Like, the looks are pretty good, and I know that's subjective, but it's got aggressive appearance. It's got 4 doors, spacious seating, good performance, in a straight line. The handling's pretty good. It's got all-wheel drive. It's not super inefficient. And the cons are, arguably, there's not a ton of exhaust sound. And I can't think of many cons really so far. I mean, that's not even a big con. Maybe you want it to be quiet. But for me, it'd be nice to have a little louder exhaust. And also, some people do not like the front grille. But other than that, you're getting a really good car in Acura. So, we're going to do a little acceleration here because I want to. There's a Honda behind us, so let's show them that Acura means business. We squeaked the tires a little bit there. We are dealing with a pretty powerful 3.7 liter V6 with 305 horsepower, all-wheel drive, and almost 300 pound-feet of torque. So it's really nothing to scoff at. I think it's a really good amount of power, especially if this is like your daily driver. You can have fun pretty much whenever you want to, and you can also sit back and relax whenever you want to. Let's also do a little handling test, shall we? I'm just gonna take it around these corners a little bit quick just to show you what it's got. I'm not going to drive super sporty, but I'm going to take these corners quick just so you can kind of get a feel for how it handles just by watching the video. I'll let you know what I think. Yeah, it's pretty composed around these corners. I'm actually surprised by how good it handles them. There's just a little bit of body roll, but really hardly any. It's pretty flat. But I just feel like, I don't know, the Acura TL makes you feel like you're in good control of your destiny. Like, it's really confident in these corners. It carves right through them. Even though it's almost 4,000 pounds. It handles great, actually. I'm really impressed. And moving on. So, I hope you enjoyed this review of the 2010 Acura TL manual, super handling all-wheel drive, 3.7 technology package. Yeah, so with that, I will see you next time on the Dawn Dimension.